Hello. Today I'm going to show you how to add a customer contact within the directory module. Before I can show you how to add the contact, we first have to identify and define what a customer is. Within Contractor Foreman, the best way to define a customer is an end user and their buildings. And so what I mean by that is the name of the building, the physical name of the building, if it has one, that will go underneath your company name. And then from there, you will fill out people information, end user information. So let's go ahead and get started, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. So just come up here to contact and click plus customer. That's going to pop out this quick customer card, quick contact card. This is just something to where you can jot down some information super fast while you're there with a customer and you don't spend all day filling out the little nitty gritty stuff that can be done in the car, in the office, anywhere except for right there in front of the customer. To make sure I use a customer that is not going to mess anything up, I'm going to use Hilltopper Hall at Western since it's scheduled for demolition. So, WKU-Hilltopper Hall. The reason I put the name of the building in the company is because anything that we do within this customer contact, whether it be projects, service calls, estimates, it will all be held underneath this this customer contact. It just keeps a running log of all work that has happened at this building. So, whenever it comes to customers, whenever you're adding the main customer, which is the building, company means building. And then here on address, 312 College Heights Boulevard. Make sure that you get the physical address of the building. I know a lot of places, like Hilltopper Hall, for instance, are going to be invoiced to a completely separate entity at a completely different address. I will get into that. Just know that your customer contact card use the physical address of the building. In the save, I'm not putting any person information. I do that in here. I know you have a primary contact line, but in instances like this, we don't necessarily have a primary contact. So if you do not have a primary contact, as in this is the only person that we will ever talk to at this place, just leave it blank. It just makes it cleaner. Now, as far as email goes, you can make that your accounts receivable email if it is going to be invoiced to this customer. If it's not going to be invoiced to this customer, if there is a general office email for questions and such, you can put that. If there's not, leave it blank. Phone number. Always put the office phone number if it has one right here. Uh, no extension needed to get to the office, most likely. If they have a second office line, you can put that there. Typically, an office isn't going to have an office cell phone, so I would leave that blank. And the office fax machine. That's what I will use this information here for. Then I will slide over to the next slide. Access gate code. If it is a gated community, a gated building, and we have to have a number to be able to access it, we can put that number in right here, And then the technician, the salesman, the whoever, when they go out there, because we already have that information here, will be able to pull up their directory on their phone and get the gate or access code. Payment terms. This is where you set their standard terms. This does not mean once you set this, you cannot change it. You can change it here at any time. You can change it on a case-by-case basis whenever you're doing your invoices, your estimates, anything. This is just their standard. So I know for Ball, their standard is net 100. Some people's got net 15. Some people have due on receipt. This one I'm just going to call net 30. Website, you can put the website in if you want. You don't have to. It's just an additional way to identify your place. So, tax rate. Right now we have 4 separate tax rates, and if you need another tax rate because we're at a different state, one can be added super easily. But here you just select the standard tax rate. Again, like your payment terms, this can be adjusted whether it be here, in estimates, in invoices, etc., etc. Since I'm using Hilltopper Hall as my example, I'm going to go ahead and say it's a tax exempt. Next, invoice 2. Hilltopper Hall, when we do work there, does not receive their own invoices. Hilltopper Hall is a part of Housing and Residence Life. So anytime we send an invoice in for doing work at Hilltopper Hall, PFT, McCormick, anything that is ran by HRL, it gets invoiced to HRL. So I type in Housing and Residence Life, and as you can see, I have 3 different selections. I have the standard Housing and Residence Life. I have Roy Forsey and Ray Murillo. Both of those are contacts underneath Housing and Residence Life. I'm going to go ahead and select Roy. So now it is going to be invoiced to Roy Forsey at Housing and Residence Life. And again, just like the payment terms and the tax rate, this is changeable at any time, whether it be here, in an estimate, in an invoice, etc. I know you're probably wondering why I haven't added any people contacts yet. And that's because they go down here. If there are people that are working inside this building that need to be able to contact us, you will add them here. So we'll do John Smith. He's the senior guy. And there you go. And that's how you add contacts. And you can add contacts all day long. Just to show you what I'm talking about. Here is the WKU Housing and Residence Life. You can add contacts, just keep adding, keep adding. Doesn't matter. It links that person to this building. Here is sales. I'll be honest, I've not gone into this part of it. I don't really see a use for it at this time. Documents. This is the big thing. The reason that we're doing our customer contacts like this. Any forms and checklists. So if you're doing your service PMs, they all populate under here. Any invoicing populates under here. Any payments populate under here. All projects show up under here. All service calls show up under here. With all projects and all service calls showing up under here, that also means any drawings, any as-builts, any notes that said 4 years ago this happened, now it's happening again. You know, it keeps an entire log of everything that we do at this building. That's why I keep reiterating in the customer contact section, think of customer as building. Here, you can have all of your customer common files. Here's your client access log. You can have your clients have access and be able to keep track of what they do. Here's your invoice terms. Let's say this customer has a very specific set of invoice terms. Okay. There. I have now put in WKU Hilltopper Hall custom invoice terms. And here's notes. You can just keep taking notes within the build. All of this gets saved to the building, to the customer. Okay, so let's go into documents here, and I'll just show you briefly why it's set up this way. I'm going to add an estimate. Here's Hilltopper Hall. Now, if you look, yes, Hilltopper Hall, that's the name of your building. But I can come down here and I can find, I know you see it, but I'm going to show you. If I look for WKU Hilltopper Hall, I not only find the name of the building, but I find the contact. If I had 50 contacts under there, I would find 50 separate contacts all linked to WKU Hilltopper Hall. So I'm going to select John Smith. Call this a test estimate. Customer is John Smith at Hilltopper Hall. And there you go. Let me add an item real quick. If you look, it pulled in tax exempt. So, go back to details, pop this guy out. And right here is where I'm saying it can be adjusted. You might not know who is going to be doing the, or who's going to be invoiced to, or it might be the same. So I'm going to select Roy Forsey. There you go, invoiced. That's who asked for it, or that's who it goes to. I mean, I can select anybody. I can just send it straight to Housing and Residence Life. And whenever I go to do the approved by, before I actually select approved up here, whoever told me to do it, I can actually go in there and select them as a contact and say, John Smith told me to do it. Roy Forsey told me to do it. Ray Mario told me to do it. Doesn't matter. Approved by boom. Now let's go into here and I'll show you why the this invoice term. This will be super fast. There's no project, so I'm just going to create the invoice. Okay, here's an invoice. Terms. If the customer has specific invoice terms and conditions, you can put it in the customer contact right there. And any invoice that you pop up, it will put in these terms and conditions. That's my quick spiel on how to do a customer contact within the directory module. I hope it made sense. I may have gone a little too fast, but if you have any questions, do not hesitate to reach out to the account manager or the account administrator, and unfortunately, that's me. If you got any questions, don't hesitate to reach out. Have a good day.